The princess lived in a golden kingdom. Tall towers touched the sky. Silk curtains danced in the breeze. Every morning, servants bowed as she passed. From the outside, her life looked perfect. She wore fine gowns. She dined beneath chandeliers. The people smiled when they spoke her name. But happiness is not always loud. Each day, the princess followed the same rhythm. Lessons, greetings, decisions made for her long before she ever spoke. She stood on her balcony at dawn, watching the kingdom wake below. Birds flew freely beyond the walls. The forest stretched endlessly in the distance. She placed her hand over her heart. She was grateful. She was kind. She cared deeply for her people. And yet, a quiet question lived inside her. Is this all I am meant to be? The crown upon her head was beautiful, but it was heavy with expectation. That morning, as the sun rose, she made no announcement, told no one her thoughts. But something gentle shifted within her. And though the kingdom still slept, the princess had already begun a journey. Not away from her crown, but toward herself. Even golden lives hold quiet questions. That afternoon, the princess stood alone by a tall palace window. Below, the kingdom moved like a living story. Merchants calling, children laughing, birds circling freely above the rooftops. She watched quietly. From here, everything felt distant, as if life was happening just beyond her reach. Her reflection stared back at her in the glass. A crown, a gown, a future already written. But behind the reflection, she saw the sky. Wide, endless, unanswered. She pressed her hand against the window. For the first time, she imagined herself walking beyond the palace gates, not as a princess, but as herself. No guards, no schedules, no expectations, just breath, just choice. A soft realization settled in her heart. I can love my kingdom, and still long for more. The bells rang, calling her back to duty. She stepped away from the window. But something had changed. The walls no longer felt like protection alone. They felt like something she would one day walk beyond. Longing is often the beginning of truth. The palace woke before the sun. Footsteps echoed through marble halls. Curtains were drawn. Breakfast was prepared just as it had been every morning before. The princess smiled when she was greeted. She always did. She listened to advisors speak of trade and tradition, nodding politely, choosing words carefully. Everyone saw a calm, graceful ruler in the making, but the palace never asked how she felt. She walked through long corridors lined with portraits, generations of queens and kings staring back at her, each frozen in certainty. She wondered if they had ever felt this quiet heaviness too. Later, in the palace garden, she removed her crown and held it in her hands. Gold, polished, admired. Heavy. She closed her eyes. Beyond the walls, she heard laughter carried by the wind. Not royal, not practiced, just free. In that moment, she understood. She was loved. She was respected. She was safe. But happiness felt like something still waiting for her. And somewhere beyond the palace walls, the answer seemed to be calling softly. Not every smile tells the whole story.